How you doing, everybody, and welcome back to the NFL Scouting Combine here in Indianapolis. Very busy day here at Lucas Oil Stadium if you're covering the Packers. Mike McCarthy talked, Ted Thompson talked, Mike Holmgren made an appearance, the former Packers coach. But to me, three stories stood out more than any. One, we were doing our press conference with Mike McCarthy, and he was in the middle of answering a question about Tim Tebow when Tim Tebow arrived, and everyone got up. It was a mass exodus, and all that was left were those of us that cover the Packers on a regular basis. But here's what's interesting. Both he and Ted Thompson had really good things to say about Tim Tebow. Now, I don't know if Tim Tebow is going to end up being drafted by the Packers, but it would be intriguing to see what Mike McCarthy, who's well known as a very good quarterbacks coach, can do with Tim Tebow, working with his mechanics, working with him in a quarterback school in the future. I think that would be a really interesting storyline. Now, again, there's no guarantees that's going to happen. Another team could certainly snap Tim Tebow up before the Packers get an opportunity to take him maybe on day 2 or day 3 of the draft. But it should be something interesting to watch because both of them were very effusive in their praise, and I'm going to write about that at ESPNMilwaukee.com and ESPNMadison.com. Two, I thought the interesting topic that came up with both Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson, but mainly McCarthy, were the special teams problems. And he really put Jeremy Kapanos on notice. I don't like Jeremy Kapanos' chances of being the Packers punter next year. I think that has become a major emphasis. Even though our friend Homer doesn't think punters are very important, I think that's become a major emphasis for this team is to get better in the punting department. But there are other aspects of special teams that they have to improve as well. Remember, they were 31st out of 32 teams in Rick Gosselin's ratings in the Dallas Morning News. So another thing Mike McCarthy is going to do, they led the league in special teams penalties last year. He's going to increase the focus on that. They're going to work on fundamentals more, which you've heard before. But what you haven't heard before is they're going to use their officials during individual drills to work on getting those guys to be better at blocking so the holding penalties go down and better in coverage. So special teams, a big emphasis. And finally, I thought the most interesting topic that came out of today was Aaron Campbell. Both Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson continued to reiterate that they want Aaron Campbell on their team. Mike McCarthy is convinced that he can play in the 3-4 and have success. They were a little bit disappointed with when he had the injury because he could have been much more productive, in their opinion, than he was. But here's the interesting thing about Campbell. He's going to have a real opportunity to go to a 4-3 team and go back to defensive end if that's what he wants. The Packers obviously didn't use the franchise or transition tag on him, so they have no control over where he went, where he might go in free agency. And talking to a few people, I think the Bears are going to be extremely interested in him once free agency begins March 5th. So the Packers may think that they can bring him back and may think that he's going to be a good player in the 3-4. But there's no guarantee that he's going to be playing in the 3-4 again next year because there's no guarantee he's going to be playing with the Packers. That's it for day 2 here at the Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. We will be back with more video, more stories, more blogs, everything tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.